Look at our books, because it's our money. Those people are spending it just like it's a Monopoly game. So let's get some fiscal sanity up there, and that's what I'm all about.
Thank you. Ms. Olsner, one additional minute.
Thank you. You know, there's $63 trillion of unfunded obligations. And I think that these need to be transparent so the American people can really see where this money is going. This should be set out at the outset of the annual budget. We need to put a cap on federal spending to make trade-offs between the programs. But what I really need to say, and what I've said before, is if we're not willing as a country to sacrifice, and we're going to have to sacrifice on a lot of different issues. And I know during World War II, the way that we got to be the country that we were was because of what y'all did in this room, and those of you who are the members of the greatest generation. When we stand really on your shoulders on that, but you knew how to sacrifice for the country. We've got to do it economically and in every area. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Sutherland, one additional minute.
There are people in this country that I don't think should have to sacrifice. It's the people that are willing to get up and go to work. Okay? In my family growing up, if we wanted something from my parents, we had to work. In our small business, we washed the cars, we mowed the grass, we vacuumed the floors, we took out the trash. And it was amazing when we did our part. We always had a new ball glove, and we always had 20 gauge shells for our shotguns. And we always had bait for the bait box when we went fishing. It wasn't hard. That was the expectation. I hear people talking about sacrifice in this country. Why should you be willing to work and work hard and then have to share what you have with people that have been sitting and not working and producing anything in this country? I think it was Madison that said, freedom ceases to exist when government will take from those willing to work and give to those who aren't. Freedom is under attack. Sacrifice, let those that don't want to put food on our table and work hard in this country, let them sacrifice the freedoms here and go back.
Thank you. Just so we can keep things moving here, please hold your applause until the end of the program. Along the economic question, and Ms. Olsner will be the first to answer this one. What is your approach to reducing the deficit? How do we increase job growth? And how do we improve the economy overall? By the way, we'll be back to 2 minutes now.
Back to 2 minutes, and I think that I'm entitled to a little rebuttal on the attack on what I said about sacrifice.
Well, this will go into your 2 minutes.
Okay, it can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're at a critical and crucial crossroads in this country. And I don't know what's going to happen to this country if we don't pull together as a people. I think we've got to stop blaming people. I think we've got to stop antagonizing people. I think this is the greatest country in the world, but if we're not willing to sacrifice for this country, then we're not really Americans. And that's not about getting up and going to work, and that's not about giving to people who won't work, but it's about sacrificing for the greater good of this country. And I think that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about sacrifice. In regards to the in regards to reducing the deficit, we have got to reduce the deficit, absolutely. What was the rest of your question, Bill? I got caught up there in this.
How would you increase job growth or improve the economy overall?
To increase job growth, I have been a small business person. I have been payroll. You have got to take the burden off the businessman and businesswoman in this country. You have got to let jobs be created at the bottom level, not at the top level like these bailouts where you throw stones into the water and they just fall down. We need like bread on the water, and that's what you have when you take the burden off of the small businessman and businesswoman. I would cut taxes. I would cut the corporate taxes so more corporations would stay here. I would increase depreciation on equipment at 100% immediately. If we stop the capital gains tax at least for 2 years and then look at suspending it indefinitely, this would greatly help the economy as well. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sutherland, 2 minutes.
First of all, there's only 2 ways to make money, and that is to spend less or make more. And you've got to cut down your expenses, or you have to increase your revenues. I know of no other way. You can't borrow your way out of debt. I've tried. You can't spend your way out of debt. I tried that too. Naturally, we have a president that doesn't understand that. That's why he's running up a $14 trillion deficit to give to my children and my grandchildren something they cannot handle, and robbing them of the freedoms that should be the right of every American. I think so. You've got to, as far as how you're going to reduce the deficit, you got to spend less than you make. As far as job growth, President Reagan understood that. The very first thing he did, and by the way, he inherited a mess. Let me just go ahead and put that on the record. And make sure our good Democratic friend back there, Matt, make sure that the Florida Democratic Party understands that. As far as Reagan, though, what he did is he put more dollars into the pockets of small business and more dollars in the family budget. And he knew that the self-evident truth, the common sense that God gave you and gave those small businesses, that they would stimulate the economy. And oh, they did. They did. The largest job growth in the nation's history. 441,000 jobs a month for 18 months. Unprecedented still today. It's not rocket science. It's common sense. It is self-evident truths. And then finally, the government budget you asked me about, improving the overall economy. We got to get Americans back to work. As long as we work, people can't buy a home if they don't have a job. People can't buy a car if they don't have a job. People can't do that home improvement, send their kids to college if they don't have a job. We have got to put Americans back to work. We've got to take care of these industries that we're pushing out of the country because of the high corporate tax rates. We've got to reduce the corporate tax rates from 35% to 25%. I learned a long time ago in South rural Alabama with my great-grandparents. The dog doesn't have to chase the tail, the tail will follow.
I want to hear the rest of the story about the dog.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I think we've had a good example the last, what, 17 months? How long has Barry been up there running the show? We now know what doesn't work. We have 800 billion reasons on what doesn't work. And I'm kind of surprised, too, because President Obama, all he's doing right now is following his hero, Franklin Roosevelt, and he's sticking with that program and that script about trying to, juice the economy, get us out of a recession. And all he's done is prolonged our agony. He promised us that stimulus bill would give us 3.2 million jobs, and we've lost an additional 4 million, so we're down 7.2 million. But what really is amazing, Obama spent time in Chicago. Chicago, the Chicago School of Economics, Dr. Milton Friedman. I guess he never met the individual, but I could just imagine if Dr. Friedman was still alive, he'd sit him down and go, okay, Barry, I'm going to talk you through this. This is what we're going to do. First off, stop all that wasteful government spending. Now I want you to focus on getting some job growth and improving the economy. And I'm going to make this real simple for you, Barry. Remember that Democratic President, Bill Clinton? Yeah, I remember him. He'll say, okay, they had a Republican Congress, which is what we're going to have come January. Newt Gingrich talked President Clinton into reducing the capital gains. And that worked great because those are the entrepreneurs, those are the investors, those are the people that go out there and provide seed money to guys like Bill Gates that have these great ideas in America, the inventors, that go out, start the Microsoft. Now they have a software that everybody uses, unless you're an Apple lover. But that's all he has to do, just that one simple thing. And just imagine if he cuts taxes across the board, he's going to be able to grow the economy. You throw in a little expansion of free trade, you throw in producing our own energy in America, that's another 90,000 jobs. So it's an easy solution.
Thank you. All right, by the way, we are just about halfway through here. It is 8 o'clock for those of you keeping time. And we move on to the next question. Mr. Sutherland will have the first answer. As we move to energy policy, explain your position on the United States becoming energy independent. Does it involve drilling in Alaskan oil reserves, drilling overall, additional refineries, nuclear energy, and of course we do have the situation now in the Gulf to address as well. Mr. Sutherland.
I think for the United States to continue to be the leader of the free world, or leader of the world, not just the free world, but the leader of the world, it is going to require our energy independence. This country does not have a broad energy policy that I believe is going to sustain us and the greatness of this country for years to come. We have not built a nuclear power plant here in 30 years. And yet, we've got the United States Department of Energy who was